Hi, Brandon Artisan, president of Champion Strategies, with our ongoing series of public speaking workshop. Today, we want to talk about you being in front of the room. How do you become confident? How do you become a compelling speaker? Someone sent me an email and they were as a youngster being in college. How can they do that? So here's my thing to you. Whether we're talking in a team meeting or a presentation in front of a large audience, we all have to speak in public from time to time. Now, we can do this very well, or we can do this very badly. And the outcome strongly affects the way that the people think about us. This is why public speaking courses so much hinges upon this thing called anxiety. The good news is that when preparation, when practice, and I told you about that word practice, you can overcome nervousness, platform problems, the articles, the papers, the AV, because we practice all of this out. So we shouldn't be anxious. Now, the importance of public speaking is this. Even though you don't need to make regular presentations in front of groups every day, there are plenty of situations where good public speaking skills can help you advance in your career and the opportunities that come with it. For example, you might have to talk to your organization at a conference, make a speech after an acceptance award, or teach a class to new recruits. Speaking to an audience also includes online presentations or talks. When training a virtual team, and also, you may be talking to consumers on a online meeting. So good public speaking skills are important in other areas in our life as well. You might be asked to give a speech at a friend's wedding, uh, give a eulogy for a loved one, or inspire a group of volunteers at a charity. In short, being a good public speaker can enhance your reputation, boost your self-confidence, and open up countless of opportunities. However, while good skills open doors, poor ones close them. Here's an example. Your boss might decide against promoting you after sitting through a badly delivered presentation. You might lose a valuable new contract by falling in to one of those presentations that did not hit it. Or you can make a poor impression with your lean team because your trip that you came from, you were tired and people could see it in your eyes and your whole body language. So we need to make sure that you learn how to speak well. So a few strategies. If we want to become a better speaker, we need to make sure these things are at least attempted to practice. And one of the things is planning. Yes, the good old word planning. First, make sure that you plan your communication appropriately. Use tools if you need to have tools. And if you do this, make sure that you are patterning your tonality, your timing to coincide with whatever tool you're using. Most people use PowerPoint. Inside the PowerPoint, maybe some short vignettes, but make sure you're in command of all that. Because if not, you could start with an interesting statistic, a headline, and then for some reason the screen goes blank. And now, what do we do? You can also be some of the people that are storytellers, as far as a powerful opening to get everyone loosened because that was a great joke. Well, remember, sometimes jokes can misfire because we alluded to something that hurt one of the people in the audience. Now, they may not share it with you there, but they do not care for you now because you said something in their minds that was derogatory to them, their race, their people. Remember that not all occasions when you need to speak in public are going to be scheduled speeches. Now, what do I mean by that? If I know what the audience makeup is going to look at, this gives me an opportunity to tailor my speech accordingly. But if it's impromptu, we never know who's in the audience. So we need to make sure we're saying and doing the right thing. Now, I always say, if you ever watched any of my videos, practice, practice. Adults hate to practice. We need to get the teenagers to understand, to absorb and love the practice. That's where the self confidence consistently comes across. And the key thing, once you practice, you'll see a stronger engagement with the audience. When the customers are totally engaged to what you're showing, what you're doing, how you're involving them, they are eating it up. So we need to find a way to get our guests to pay attention. If you can control that and leave them with a takeaway, please, you've done your job. Now, finally, avoid reading your speech word for word. If you do this, and I know you have notes there, can we just make a list of bullet points on smaller cue cards? At least this way, we're not memorizing, we're just trying to say, I need to cover these points. You see, when you have cue cards or you have large papers and you're speaking to a group that you haven't known before, and something will go wrong and it throws you off because you were dependent so much on those cue cards. When you can find a way to break away from that pattern, that's when we know that you are getting better as a public speaker. Once again, Brandon Artisan, President of Champion Strategies, with our ongoing series of public speaking. And as always, in parting, you go out and make